My name is David Gregory. I'm 45 years old. I'm a police officer, and I also am now teaching RCIA for my parish. I've been a Catholic for 2 years. So I heard about the DaVinci Code when it first came out as a book, but I didn't pay it much mind. You know, I was just so many other things going on in my life. It wasn't till it made it to regular television. I think I might have caught it on, you know, TBS or one of those networks, that it really hit me. That this was just inherently wrong. It was against everything that I was brought up to believe. So it dove me into apologetics. It dove me into, you know, by this time, you know, people had written articles and articles and articles debunking. I think there was a book called The Da Vinci Hoax, which I read. So the more I got into it, the more I got interested in faith, kind of from an intellectual level though, you know, and it really started getting interested in the Catholic Church. So I kind of made a list, you know, these are the beliefs that were the core beliefs, and I wrote down on one side of the tablet, Protestant, mainline Protestant views, and then Catholic views. And I made a decision on each one, and at the end of it all, I had checked the box in all of the Catholic views. But this was just an intellectual exercise. I hadn't had any kind of, you know, feeling. I wasn't going to church. I was just doing research. And my son, who was about 10 at the time, came up to me and saw what I was doing. I had the Bible out and I had different things. And he said, "Dad, are we Christian?" And I was accused, indicted, tried, found guilty, and sentenced in 1 second. And I said, yes. Now we hadn't been going to church. He had gone to church with his grandparents, but I wasn't taking him to church. I certainly wasn't setting an example as a Christian man for him. And that one moment changed my life. It really did. I had become basically an expert on medieval Catholic Church. I had become an expert on, you know, the apologetics between, you know, of John 6 and the Protestant view, but I hadn't put it into practice. And when he said that, that hit me so hard. And, you know, I went to another room and I just started to cry. Like, I wasn't raised to not be a Christian. I was raised in a good Christian home. And I had went to the military, stopped attending services, you know, lived a debauched life. But I always justified it away as, you know, I'm a good person. As long as you're a good person, you know, God still loves you. But I didn't have any thought into it. It was just justifying. I was seeking, you know, to justify rather than to be just. I took him to the church. He got enrolled in RCIA. He came into the church a year before I did. And I mean, that's kind of my story in a nutshell. You know, I studied my way into the church first, and I was really thorough. So by the time I got to RCIA, you know, they were so impressed by the things that I was adding to they asked me to join the team as soon as I graduated. And so I had made that intellectual gap, but it was a lot. My job is like to be a detective. So I was conducting an investigation onto, you know, whether this was true. And I watched so many episodes over Easter of everything the History Channel put out, and then I would debunk that. It was like a hobby, but it wasn't in my heart. And it wasn't for my son noticing that I'm watching a lot of things about Jesus and asking, are we Christian? That, like I say, I was found guilty.